Okay, well, good evening to all of you guys. It's been an incredible last week, actually. I got a lot of really great feedback and great questions coming in, which is fantastic. And it's really just proving that the UK has a number of just untapped areas, and the UK market is a very savvy market. It's a very established market, and so the kinds of questions that you guys are getting are really great questions. And so it's really important that you guys continue to ask these questions so we can help you overcome any objections that you're getting or any bits of confusion that some of your prospects may have. If we can provide some clarification, that's really great. I just want to remind everybody, though, that regardless of if you know the answer to a specific question or not, um, you can always fall back on the fact that your team does know the answers. So you can always redirect a conversation and just say, that's a really great question. I'm going to make sure that we address that during our appointment. It's a really great way to overcome something if you get tongue tied and you're not really sure what the answer is. Especially especially if you feel like, gosh, if I don't get them an answer right away, then they're not going to want to set an appointment with me. So it's important to just be yourself, be organic. If you don't know the answer to something, it's okay. Just let them know who will answer their questions, if that makes sense. All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight is leveraging your spending power. So we've done the web volume contest for a couple of sessions in a row. And, in the past two contests, we're on our third one right now. The past two contests, one of our top five contestants, his name is John. And he was a brand new web center owner just a year ago and living in New York, which is a highly saturated market. And New York reminds me a lot of London in terms of the quality of business owner that you're talking to. So, you're in London or you're in the UK, you're talking to these very savvy business owners, people that are very established. You guys are in a very established economy, and, there's a lot going on there. New York City's a lot like that in terms of how people think. They want something done, with the highest quality at the best price, etc. So this particular web center owner, even though it was a brand new web center owner, decided to go for the contest and landed in the top five his very first attempt, which is really commendable, especially given he had only been a web center for 3 months and he had outperformed hundreds of other web center owners on the contest. So we interviewed him at these events and we asked him, where are you getting all of your leads from? And his response was, well, I spend money. I go to a lot of different restaurants. I have different services done on my apartment. Wherever I spend money, I'm constantly asking what their website situation is. And so he did what we asked. He made his names list, but the biggest column that he filled out was, where do you do business? He always made it a point to bring up the website. And so as a result, he was able to leverage the warm relationship that he had with these business owners as a way in, because for a lot of people and in a lot of scenarios, that's the hardest hurdle to jump, right? Is you're talking to a business owner and you can't get them on the phone or you can't get them to agree to speak to you, and there's all of these reasons why they won't talk to you or they won't set up an appointment. But when you're a customer of theirs, when you are spending money with their business, if you ask them a question about their current website situation, or if you ask them a question or you try to share a little bit about what you're doing, naturally they're going to treat you well. They're going, because you're a customer of theirs in the first place. So they're going to treat you with a level of respect that they may or may not take the time to do with someone that may be just calling them out of the blue that they don't know. They're going to value and respect the rapport, the relationship that you have as already when you're their customer, and give you the time of day to get some questions out. And so just by simply doing that, he was able to land in the top five for our contest, two contests in a row, and is actually one of our web volume coaches right now on our current Web Volume 3.0 contest. So this is a very powerful way to meet business owners. It's a very easy way to talk to business owners because it's just like I said, because that relationship is already there, it's a very simple thing, and it's enjoyable when it's simple, when you don't feel that pressure. But you guys all spend money. You all have some buying power, and you can leverage that to build some very meaningful connections with business owners. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight, is how you can do that. As a quick reminder, all of the information, recordings, etc., are all available on mawc411.com. Please don't forget to submit your results. That's also very important for us. We're just keeping track of all of our progress. So, in a lot of you that I see on the attendee list, you guys all attended the Web Center trainings with me on Sunday, and so we talked about a plethora of methods for expanding your names list, right? So you start off your journey with MA Web Centers, and you created a very extensive names list by going column by column and industry by industry. And last week we talked about working in familiar industries. There's all these different things that you can do, and one of them is to spread out your spending, meaning, instead of just only going to the certain restaurants that you go to, try to go somewhere else. I just did this over the weekend. I was with my husband, and we were actually, walking around the mall. We had a couple of places that we had to stop. We actually placed a big order for an outside bar, and I wanted to pick it up in the store at Sears because it would save me money on shipping, and also I wanted it for the weekend. So we were walking around, we went to that store, and we passed this brand new store that was in the mall, and it was all about like TV personality collectibles, right? So it was really cool actually. They had like Breaking Bad games and characters and Pokemon cards and all these like really cool things for people that are into TV shows or different characters, right? And so I walked in there and I picked up two things for my two boys. Um, I got Ethan a little. It was actually like a not a teddy bear, but it was like a tiger version of a teddy bear. And I got Jordan some Pokemon cards because he collects those, right? And as I'm going to the front of the store, I'm like actually looking around, like, you know what? This is crazy because this kind of a niche store, I can't believe it's even in the mall. The real estate, the rent on those spaces are pretty high, and so they must have to do a lot of volume. I wonder how their website is. So all I did was simply ask the girl at the front desk and say, this is a really great store. My kids would love this. I'd love to show them more, but we're so busy. Do you guys have a website? And her answer was, actually, no, we don't. I said, oh no, are you guys thinking about getting one set up? And she said, actually, my aunt owns this store, and that's one of the things that she's asked me to do, so that by the time the summer's over, we'll have that. And then she said, in fact, when the fall comes around, we do a very big Halloween business, and so she really wanted to have it in time for that. So I said, well, what have you looked into so far? And she just kind of laughed and said, I haven't really thought about it yet. I know it's on my to-do list, but I keep kind of putting it off because we're still kind of getting into the swing of things. So I just very simply said, listen, I know you guys are busy right now. But when's a good time that you and I can just get on the phone and chat a little bit? That's what we do. We're actually partnered with a great company. We've been helping businesses in town for years, and be happy to just give you some options and see if we might be able to help you out or work together. And she was so relieved. She goes, she goes, you have no idea. I've been thinking about this and I didn't know where to start. I didn't, I've been going online, and all of these other options that are on there, they just seem too good to be true. I'm like, well, they are good for like, quick websites, but as a business class solution, if you're going to be selling online, you definitely want to make sure that your e-commerce system is safe for your customers, and that you can track your orders, and you can, communicate with your customers, and there's all kinds of stuff that you're going to want to do so that you can actually make, a nice profit online. Since you're not just, especially since you're not looking to just get a quick business card type of website out there. So the long and short of it is we have an appointment. And it's as simple as I walked into the store and I just said, so how's your website? Do you guys have a website? I do that at every restaurant that I walk into. I do that anytime I have work done on my home. The guy that opened up our pool last summer, we did his website, Manatee Pools. Same thing. He shows up to my house and I'm spending money with him to work on part of our home. Then I'm just going to ask the question. I'm not going to be, a hard salesperson. I'm just going to say, do you have a website? And ask the very simple questions that you would ask anyway. But the beautiful part about the whole situation is I'm handing that person my credit card, or I'm giving them my business. And so their immediate reaction is to think, they want to respond in a nice way. So again, you want to make sure. I mean, I'm a big advocate for being a loyal patron, right? If you go certain places often, then it's a good thing to do that. But there's no harm in trying out new things as well. So what I want you guys to think about is really two different things. First of all, where are you spending your money? And have you actually contacted the businesses of the places where you currently spend your money? And then, secondly, I want you to think about where you could spend that spending out a little bit, right? Could you try some new restaurants this week instead of always going to the same one, right? Because you already have your foot in the door there. Could you spread your spending out to increase the amount of leads that you have? Right? It's a nice simple thing that you do. But the thing is if you do that, you're going to have more business owners and more situations where there's a warm in, right? And that's where that fifth column of the names list really comes into play, where we have the column that says, who do you want to get to know? That's for when you're doing things like spreading out your spending. So, we worked our names list in the very beginning and we said, who do you know that owns a business in terms of restaurants? Who do you know that works at a restaurant business? Where do you currently spend your money at restaurants? And the fifth column would be, what restaurants would you want to try? And I find that when you take the time to actually identify the businesses under each of these categories, you actually give yourself a shot at getting it done. Because otherwise, it's like any other thing. You're going to have the best intentions in the world, but at the end of the day, the hours are going to fly right on by, and you're going to realize that another week went by and you didn't find the time to go out and, spread out your spending or even talk to the places you're currently doing business with, right? And so what I would recommend for this week is that you guys go not column by column, but industry by industry, and try to create a massive list of places that you want to, spread your spending out with. I also want to make sure that you've given this third column enough attention, right? So go through this list of industries, and you can add more industries if you'd like, but go through this list of industries and write down every single place where you spend your money, every restaurant you've ever been to, and then go ahead and do your research, right? So where do you spend your money? Restaurants. Simple stuff you can look up. Do they have a website for a restaurant, right? Is the menu up to date? Can they take online reservations? If so, is it built into their website, or is it open table? That's another really great thing to ask yourself. Open table is a very popular way to book a reservation. In fact, that's actually what I did when I was in London. We booked our afternoon tea at Kensington Palace via open table, and it was cool, and it works really well. But they spend additional money for that functionality to be able to take those reservations. Our website solution in a box offers online reservations without needing to spend additional money through open table. Another item you can look for, can people order online? Can you purchase a gift card? Are they using social media? Is there anywhere on the website for a newsletter sign up? And can you find them on Google? I always recommend checking out restaurants because everybody goes to restaurants. And so whether you know a lot about that industry or not, as a consumer of restaurants, you know a lot of restaurants. And so you actually have a lot more context than you think. But these are some really cool research or some really great questions that you can ask yourself when you're looking for restaurants that you spend your money at or places that you want to try. Under service-based businesses, some great questions to look for. Number one, do they have a website at all? Does it look up to date? Do they have resources for their current customers? Right? I just shared on our Facebook page today a brand new design concept for one of our new clients. It's a physical therapist. And half of the goal of the website is to attract new patients, but the other half of the website is really geared toward being an asset for their existing patients, right? And that's true for all kinds of service-based businesses, whether you own a roofing company, a landscaping company, whether you're an attorney or an accountant. All of those service-based businesses can really streamline their business practices by making resources and assets available online for their clients, right? And so it's simple. If it's an attorney, then if they're offering an initial free consultation, that's great. maybe you can make the most of that free consultation by having a list of everything that you want that new potential client to bring to their first appointment, right? So just take a quick peek. Does the website look like it has resources? If it's a landscaper, do they have any product information? Do they have any warranty information? Frequently asked questions, customer testimonials, newsletters, signups for that, right? Can people request an appointment or a consultation through the website? Are they using social media? Can you find them on Google? Those are great questions to take a peek at in terms of service-based businesses. And then, of course, with retail businesses, it's pretty simple. The things that you want to look for, right? Do they have a website, and are they selling online? And when you look at their online store, does it look safe? Right? We've all been to websites for an online store where it's done really well, and we've been to online stores where you look at it and you're like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to put my credit card in here or not, right? So that's important stuff to look for. But you should take a peek at that. Are they doing newsletters? Are there coupon codes available? Can you find them on Google? These are great questions to ask. And, it's just the process is the same. But again, the really beautiful part about this particular approach is that yourself as a customer of this restaurant, service business, or retail store that you're going to be approaching, that business owner is going to be more open to talking with you and answering your questions because you're spending money with them. So it's a really cool situation to be in. It's a warm market, which means you're going to get some good results there. Now, once you've done your research, you want to go ahead and contact the business owner, whether you're going to do that on the phone or whether you're going to walk into their place of business or, face to face kind of a thing. So, one of the things that you want to do is you want to connect the dots for them, right? So, remember, you are a customer of theirs. You were checking out their website and you're going to ask questions based on the research that you did. So the first thing you always want to do is you want to name drop. Hey, it's Sarah. My name's Sarah. How are you? Yeah, actually we eat at your restaurant all the time, and I was actually checking out your website because I wanted to just, change up what I normally order, but I couldn't tell if your menu was up to date. Can is it up to date? Okay, great. It's not well, geez, how can I get a peek at your menu? Oh, I have to come in. Okay, well, have you thought about updating your website? Oh, you have. Well, who does that for you, right? You can see where I'm going with that. It's really simple. I immediately name drop that I'm a customer of theirs so that, they know that I'm not just cold calling them or soliciting them. And then secondly, I let them know I was checking out their website because, and I found this, and it's followed by a question, right? The next step is called the art of listening. And we call this the Trista approach because Trista loves to train on this and she does a beautiful job. But basically, when you get a response from them and they share a challenge with you, like for example, if you've connected the dots and they come back and say, oh, we just haven't had the time, or we had somebody updating our website, but then they, moved away or they started working somewhere else, or whatever the challenge may be, what you want to do is acknowledge, rephrase, and give a thoughtful comment. So acknowledge the challenge. Oh gosh, I totally know what you mean. That's got to be tough when excuse me, acknowledge the challenge and rephrase. So, guys, it's got to be tough when you have something kind of working out for you and someone's updating your site and then they end up leaving. Here's what I found. I found that if you could have a system that more people could easily update, it might actually make it easier so that you're not dependent on one person. Or just something that says you've heard their challenge, you do that and you rephrase that you've heard their challenge so that they know you've heard them, and then you just give a thoughtful comment. And thirdly, you want to respect that their timing. So as you're asking these questions or trying to, empathize with them or whatever, just let them know, like, listen, I know you're probably really busy. I know it's not a great time to talk about this kind of stuff right now. I do need your website, your menu. So I'll just, for now, I'll place whatever, or I'll just, call back tomorrow for whatever the reason is. Just let them know that it's not a good time. But then you have to ask when is. Is there a time tomorrow that I can give you a call back, or we could just take 15 minutes? I'd love to ask you a couple questions. Maybe we can actually help you out with that. Right? And so it's really simple. You're just respecting the fact that that they're in the middle of conducting business. They're, it's about to be the dinner rush, or that they're in the middle of their workday. When is a good time to meet? When can we take 15 minutes? So that's important to remember. When you're doing this approach, right, and you're doing this kinds of research and you're calling people on the phone in the middle of their day, you have to be prepared for the fact that most people are not going to want to do a full-on website appointment right away. Most people, though, will give you 10 to 15 minutes where you can just chat a little bit and learn a little bit more about what they're looking for and see if it's a good fit. And that's where those 15-minute consultations come in handy, right? So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys actually take this and run with it. In week 7, what I want you to do again, and I know I said this a couple of times, but I want you to think in terms of 3 different categories of spending that you do, right? The first category of spending that everybody does is with restaurants. The second is with service-based businesses. And the third is with retail stores, whether it's online or in person. And I want you to identify the restaurants that you currently do business with and new restaurants that you want to try. Services that you currently do business with, new services that you would want to try, or new business owners of service providers that you would be willing to try. Retail stores that you currently shop at, and new potential retail stores as well. And also keep in mind that on the front end of your web center, there is a form or a tab called Partner Program. And when you're going through these retail stores, if you find that some of them have a great online presence already, or you find that they're going to have a great online presence because you're giving them an MA Web Center's website, they might be a good Market UK partner store for shop.com as well. And so have them fill out the application, and that will kick off a stream of events where one of the shop.com team members will reach out to them and actually vet that potential partner program or that partner store and see if they might be able to bring them on as an affiliate or as an MA merchant. So that's a cool angle that you can take as well. Just keep in mind that every store that applies is not approved, right? So just make sure you aren't positioning it in a way where, if they don't get approved, it's going to work against you. Just let them know that this is an opportunity that they have, right? Okay, so with that being said, like I said, if you have any questions about what we went over today, that's great. But this week's challenge is really simple. It's all about really honing in on where you're spending your money and where you will spend your money, and doing some really cool targeted research based on these 3 categories of business, and reaching out to the prospects. So what I want to remind everybody is that the research part of this is just part of what you need to do if you want to be successful. You also have to remember that if you want to make money doing this, you have to actually contact the people too. So don't forget to go through this part of the process where you're contacting the business owner, asking the questions, and trying to get as many 15-minute consultations booked as you can. All right, everybody, make it a great week, and I will put this up on our Facebook group and respond to questions as they come in. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.